Hi, good morning. This is Carrie. I'm going to do my first how-to video for YouTube. We just started a YouTube channel and Autopilot Properties, and we are going to be posting some videos on there. But I thought I'd give you my first how-to video, a little example on how to do baseboard, coping baseboard so that it's a nice tight corner. Normally people can be in a hurry and they'll just do miter cuts, and to do two 45-degree miter cuts in the corners. But a coped cut is putting one piece of baseboard over top of the other so that it has less of a visible line. So I'll give you a shot of what a miter cut looks like, and then I'll show you how I do the coped, and I think it's a really slick way. So let's take a look. So first I'll show you the miter cut, so I'll turn the phone around here. So a miter cut, so we have, this is some standard 4-inch base. I've done a miter cut there, and then this piece here is another, and you'd put it together and it'd be that type of joint in the corner of the floor. But what the problem is, if that corner starts to separate, you start to see that gap as a much bigger gap. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this piece so that this profile actually goes over top of this piece here. So then it'll be a real seamless piece. So so first thing you do is you take on the coped end that you're going to do the profile cut. You do an inside 45 so that the profile of the base, you have the white line or whatever colored trim you have that as your guide. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut that out so that this here piece will go over top of that piece. So I made my 45 inside cut, and then what I do is I take and I do it right on my miter saw. I take this clamp and I cut it, or I position it on the middle, clamp the trim down so that it doesn't move. And then what I use is I use a cutoff tool or cutout tool. I use DeWalt. I love DeWalt. The bit I have in there is, you can see it's a not a sheetrock bit, but it's a wood cutting bit, and it pushes the wood away, so the spiral is going away from me. So and how it rotates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. So I'm going to cut with this bit. I'm going to cut that line right there, and it gets kind of noisy, but I have to use two hands. So I'm going to mount the phone here to the saw so that you can still see if this works. Use a clamp on my phone. Hopefully I don't break my phone. That doesn't quite work there. Try here. Tricky part. Sorry about that. This is my first YouTube video, so not exactly how I'm going to do that. See if it just sits in there. Okay, then you can see where I have the bit. I'm going to hold my hand and actually use my finger as a guide to help steady it. But okay, I'm going to turn it on and I'll go through it. that's all there is to that. So now we'll take a look at what I got cut here. So let it focus. So you can see that it's not exactly perfect, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that I don't cut into the white. So I leave a little bit of the wood color. And then what I do is I use a flat file. So it's got coarse on one end and fine on the other. What I'll do is I'll use that and I'll file, because I've back cut that with the cutout tool. When I use the file, I don't go all the way flat, but I just go on the edge, and it's really easy to take that little bit of material off. So that's all it took. Now this edge is all nice and straight. So now I have a little bit around here. Well, the flat doesn't really conform to that profile. So what I do then is I use a rat tail file, a little rat tail file, and then I'll take and use that real gently. It's hard to hold the camera and do this at the same time, but okay, so there it's all cut. So now if you take this piece, say this is on the wall, and when it overlaps you can see how tight a joint that gets. So now if this piece, I'm actually going to take it loose here. So if this piece is on the wall and this piece is up against it, because this is against the wall, and I'll go this way. So how tight that fits. If the piece on the right, tendency to pull away, is still going to keep it tight, it'll stay in there. So it's got a better joint, so it's less visible, I guess. So that's how I do a coped joint. Usually takes about 15-30 seconds to cut it coped, so it doesn't take any more time if you know what you're doing. If you have a little practice, biggest thing is confidence. Making sure you have confidence of running that cutout tool, and holding on to it and using a guide finger. But to cut cope joints over miter joints goes just as fast, so it gives a little bit more high-end look. Alright, that's my first YouTube video for our YouTube channel, Autopilot Properties. Stay tuned for more how-tos and other videos of properties. Thanks.